Hello, I'm Vinzer Flynn, and welcome to the Flinncast. What do you hear? What do you say?
I hear nothing, I say nothing.
Smart man.
And snowing out, that'd be great.
Still?
I don't know, it's too dark to tell anymore.
Look who it is.
It's me!
Hi.
Hi.
You.
Did you get painting done?
Not enough. I found myself on Twitter.
Oh, well, this is the night for that.
And I decided that talking to other humans and maybe getting some painting done at the same time might be a better use of my time and mental health.
It's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, socializing is nice.
Yeah.
Jenny, did you get a chance to read the first D&D session recap?
I haven't done it yet because I wanted to sit down and like really absorb it, and I've been running around all day.
It's there on my page. Right. When you have a chance, you're gonna let. It's written from. There's an Astonus of Palanthus intro.
I saw like I was skimming it. I was literally gonna save it for like before I went to bed tonight to like try to give myself like something like good and wholesome and like.
Well, I'm just. You take your time, but I'm just excited when you read it. I want to hear what you think. That's all.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited because I think you had a very good time.
Oh, you know what? It was so natural, and the new group, one of them's here. He's going to hear me saying things about them. Are really good. They're naturals. Oh yeah, I knew that from playing Star Wars, but yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's huge.
The most annoying thing for them, I think, is learning Thaco, but they're getting it quicker than
we. I'll have to remember how.
Quicker than we did.
Yeah. Exactly.
We had to engineer character sheets, so we didn't have to think about it. We get a new sword, we calculate it, write it down, forget about it.
Exactly.
Then you get a new sword, and you're like, "Fuck, how's this work again?"
Yeah. Remember Ilya's story about like how doing math in D&D like was how he got good at doing math?
Yeah.
And then somebody in school, some other kid was like, "How are you so good at math?" And he was like, and he went through all like he was like, well, I mean, in his head he was like, well, I play D&D, and I mean, like, you know, it helped me like learn how to do math fast on the fly. But then he was like, wait a minute, I can't say I play D&D because people think it's like a devil game. And then it just, what came out of his mouth was, devil make me smart. Devil make my brain grow. God damn it. Oh, geez, okay, pardon me.
And he's getting a call from Brackus over here. I got that as my ringtone too, and I regret nothing. I had a lot of internet to catch up on after we got back from Newfoundland. It was a wonderful visit, but we got put up. It's like Raina's dad lives in a very rural community, and there's a lot of people that go to vacation there with doing RV trails and skidoos and stuff. So it's all like lodges and stuff. And we got put in a mobile home, which is really kind of cozy and warm by the end of it. But there was no signal, no Wi-Fi, no signal. It was torturous.
I didn't mind it by like day 2. I was over it, and I was just kind of enjoying the forced disconnect from the world.
Yeah, it wasn't really that bad actually. And we had movies and stuff and drugs. So
well, dad's community is, they've counted, and it's topping 175.
Like you said, makes Bedeck look like a metropolis.
Yeah, it does.
It's nice there.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was really cute. There's like 3 main streets.
I visited once, and I cannot tell you where it was. It was outside of Corner Brook.
That's where we were.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if Courtney knows any Parsons.
But what?
Oh, he's doing that dropping out thing.
Yeah.
Yes, my Wi-Fi sucks. I'm sorry.
Oh. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that your Wi-Fi sucks.
So Canadian.
We're so Canadian. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
I like being a rude, polite Canadian. Like, I'm sorry, you suck.
Exactly.
You see what's influencing Nugget?
This thing has a fucking life of its own. Like it.
It's
Sometimes I
amazing.
turned around, he was in my lazy boy chair, and he's like,
As long as you don't start its own Instagram account, we won't have to
No.
call an intervention.
"No, I think but this is as weird as we're getting." He's got a little cape, and we took him on vacation. That's it.
Got such cute
Legit.
pictures. And my coworkers didn't think it was weird. They thought it was adorable, and they took pictures of it to
There
send to
you
their friends.
go.
Because you know what? He doesn't have a voice. The most he does is nods and shakes his head and looks at you weird.
And he dances.
Like that.
See, Courtney should have been working for like Jim Henson's fucking Creature Workshop or something.
Yeah, Jesus.
Eerie. And she'll be like on her phone or something, like seemingly not paying attention, and then Nugget.
Or asleep.
She fell asleep on the ferry, not a word of a lie, with him puppeteer held up on her. I have a picture to prove it. She's out cold, and Nugget's still sitting on top of her looking at me.
God.
And she's still moving a little bit in her sleep, so he's just suddenly moving. So I'm like, I was sitting a few seats away, like,
It's like
Fucking-
Vinzer, I'm always watching.
yeah. Except he's watching me.
Yeah.
See? He's a delight.
So I'm officially caught up on nothing this week.
Have you watched any of Discovery so far?
Oh yes, I have. Oh yeah, okay. Guess not nothing.
There's 3 episodes out. How far are you?
Yeah, I've seen them all. I
Oh,
take it all
perfect.
back.
So we're gonna main course is going to be Mandalorian first episode, but let's have a Discovery appetizer. Jenny and Juice, if you're here, you're kind of our resident senior Trekkies. Impressions of this season so far?
Haven't seen it. Can't comment.
Well, fuck you then, Jenny.
All right. Well, for the whole thing, the whole season.
Well, just the
Yeah.
first 3 episodes of season 3.
I feel like they are just. I feel like the shackles are off. I feel like there's so much possibility. I feel like there's mystery. I like that they cry all the time. I think that's fantastic. Cake is eternal.
This is something that's really interesting to me, is because in a way we're still kind of learning the bridge characters, and some of them, like the names, I'm still getting straight. Like
Me too.
And normally we're not used to that. Like we're used to knowing, okay, 7 crew members, we get their names, we know who they are right away. But we're getting to know these guys more slowly. But still, after 2 full seasons, the emotional investment we have in this crew is so fucking high. Like when they win, like I was, Phoenix was talking about this the other day. By the end of the 3rd episode, he was in fucking tears, and I can see why he was.
Me too. Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, because it's just like the idea that they are hanging on to all of those values that are so important to them and to all of us.
Yeah.
And that they've done this insanely amazing, scary, crazy thing, like as just people in the universe. They're like, okay, well, we're just gonna, am I allowed to say?
Say what?
Well, like, what are we, like, spoiler free, or are we?
We are spoiler red alert. Yeah, I put it on all the cast. That spoiler territory. So yeah, you can say what you want.
You need to add like a Riker, like red alert sound effect.
And I'll get a copyright strike for using copyright sounds.
That's true.
They're cracking down on that
It's
shit.
true. Yeah. So the idea, and I mean, they touched on it just briefly with Tilly this week, like how they've jumped 1,000 years into the future, and they're all still just even absorbing what that means to them, like, I mean in terms of the universe, but also just personally.
Tilly is a great representative of the like emotional strain a normal person would be under, and she, like the actor, she conveys that so well. Like when she's almost on the verge of tears, you're like
Yes, yeah, exactly.
He's great.
And it's like it's interesting because there's usually a character on each show, and it's usually the non-human character that's sort of like the mirror to our humanity,
Right.
you know, that sort of get like
Data.
but
yeah.
And that it's interesting because I almost find in Discovery that Tilly is more the mirror in a lot of ways to sort of just but more in just sort of like what an average person existing is. And anyway, it's just like she's great. Like, oh, that whole thing with her and Saru last week.
That was good, yeah.
Oh, and it's just like you know, you were a very good first impression. Just like, oh.
I know, like Saru continues to give off an almost cold exterior, but like he's not like that. He is so he's such a good guy, and he cares, and he's nice. It doesn't show on his face so much, right? But then he'll say something so heartwarming and touch you on the shoulder, and you're like, oh wow, he really gives a shit. And I must say, Saru, he's really grown on me. He's a pretty good captain,
isn't he?
I was going to say, is Jenny caught up? I thought she said she wasn't caught up.
She is. She is.
Yeah.
All
I'm
3
not
episodes.
Caught up on many things, but I am caught up on Discovery.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Are you caught up?
Yes, and I was just going to say, I really liked the scene where Michael yielded the captain's chair to Saru. I thought that was really good.
Me too.
That her character has matured enough to know that she is not the person anymore to be leading this crew of people. And you can see that from literally that episode where she like goes off on her own without telling anybody.
Yeah.
Totally.
So we mentioned how Tilly is she's so emotive and great. I also want to make a note of Kayla Detmer, how she's definitely got some fucking big PTSD thing going on, 1,000-yard stare. And the actor, she's really selling that too. Like she's good, she's doing her job. They snapped her out of it for a second. And she's so good at her job, but she's just like,
she's disobeyed an order.
Yeah, she's fucked up.
Yeah, that was great. I loved how they played that. I loved like her terror. It looked like, you know, just that was.
I found the episode really interesting. It was very much a throwback to like an episodic. The ship warps into a new system and has to diplomat between two countries, and then it just so happens the two parties are Earth and sort of Earth.
Yeah, exactly.
I was thinking that I was actually expecting Earth to be post-apocalyptic for some reason, and it's not. It seems to be in pretty good shape. It's just got its shields up, literally and figuratively. But they weren't unreasonable, and when they got the people from the Earth Defense, whatever, and these raiders to actually talk, like that's Starfleet shit right there, right? And it felt really good when it started working. Yeah. You're like, and you know what? I was thinking, okay, so the 930 years in the future, and the burn happened, 100-something years ago, but the Federation, my point being, the Federation lasted about 700 plus years, and I thought, not bad. You know what I mean? Like, that's a pretty long.
They're just taking a break. That's all. The Discovery crew will put them back together. But I think this episode really did emphasize they need a retrofit, and really badly.
Oh, yeah.
The tag is 900 years out of date.
Calling it a museum.
I love the idea, actually, that is now kind of part of their mandate, sort of in the way that it was for Voyager, like
yes,
that they're going to have to do that.
It's kind of a parallel with Voyager, but this still feels like such new territory. Like this is really so blank slate. Like, you know what it feels like to me? It feels like the Star Trek universe has landed in something more closely resembling a Star Wars universe. It's way grittier, way rougher. It's way more shoot you in the back. Like, you know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah, but I think that's just because all the previous series follow Starfleet doing Starfleet stuff. We don't necessarily see what it's like to live on like any of the rougher planets in the galaxy.
Yeah.
Like we saw for Picard that it's not all sunshine and rainbows. All
Yeah,
the
and
time.
I love the shiny ideal of the Federation, but I still like seeing those gritty aspects of the galaxy. It's just they should be there.
One of the things that stood out to me was the fact that the United Earth Defense Force is still using quantum torpedoes, which is about an 600-year-old technology at this point.
Yeah. That is actually quite interesting.
Like the Defiant had quantum torpedoes in what, like 2365 or something like that?
Yeah.
What was the other thing I was going to say? Nope, slipped my mind. Give me a minute.
Well, while you're thinking about that, can I just say that Stamets continues to be fantastic.
Oh my god, right?
He's so good. You know what? I didn't know. Like, I wasn't that familiar with the actor. I didn't know that he was Tony from Dazed and Confused.
Tony. What?
The blonde-haired guy, yeah.
What?
Guy who hooked up with Sabrina.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Tony.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
I figured you knew that, Jenny. I figured if anybody would know that, you'd know. That's
No
your
way.
mind just blew the same way mine did.
I was 10 years old. What?
He was in the car. I want to dance. He was like, what?
Oh,
God.
So it was cool to know that even though Earth is no longer part of the Federation, I think somebody said there was a Tellarite in the inspection force. So it's good that Earth hasn't gone xenophobic. It's just gone, cut itself off from the Federation as a safety measure by the sounds of it.
Right.
And the thing I was going to say, and now that I remember, was that, and this will make Yost and Jenny probably happy, is that the start date that Burnham says at the start is completely accurate.
Ooh, nice.
Consistency.
Ooh, that's great.
Whoever did the math correctly.
Right.
They must have a room of continuity. They have that in the Star Wars universe. There's like a team of people that are they deal with canon and shit, which is why we'll get to that particular rant of mine in the next segment.
You know what? And the thing I like about this is they've basically done the KOTOR approach. They've set this now so far ahead in this case that it can't possibly affect anything in like the TNG-esque era.
Yeah.
Like they could do a post-Voyager anything like they are with Lower Decks, and nothing of that can affect anything that happens in Discovery.
This is a cool way to be a part of building the Federation without actually going back and having to build the Federation. It's like getting the band back together, right? But it's the start of something so familiar but so uncharted territory. And I
feel like it's Enterprise 2.0 because the writers of Enterprise have always said they were going to build it up, that the finale of Enterprise was going to be the Federation forming, and they kind of had to ramp that up because the show was going to end.
Yeah.
But like the Enterprise mission where the Tellarites and the Andorians and the Vulcans all team up against the Romulans, and there was going to be a lot more of that and a lot more of that and a lot more of that till they eventually organically formed the Federation.
Oh, yeah.
I'm curious as to who the current members of the Federation are.
Oh, yeah. Like there's obviously ships out there that are still getting around. Like, where are the Vulcans? Where are the Klingons? What are they doing, right? Like, I want those answers.
Mm-hmm.
The curious thing is somebody pointed out during the temporal Cold War episodes of Enterprise that the Klingons have joined the Federation in the 2600s.
Right, yeah.
That's cool. I forgot about that.
So if I see a Klingon crew on a Starfleet ship, that will blow my mind.
Definitely.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm excited with this Trill turn of events.
Oh, yeah. Was anyone else shitting their pants waiting for them to say the word Dax?
I'm hoping for it. And it was good to note that the Discovery crew had no idea who the Trill were because I don't think they'd been discovered as a TOS, right?
Yeah, I don't think
they
so.
show up in TNG for an episode or two. That's about it.
Yeah, and it was really new to everyone, even at that point, that concept. But I see in the promos or promo pictures for next week, it looks like they're going to Trill.
Okay, cool.
Because they need to try to get those memories that she's...
So we might, if it's not Dax, we might still meet Dax.
Oh, wouldn't that be amazing?
I know it would be like the fan service of all fan services, but like I would love to see somebody. A Dax.
Yes! Give me my fan service. I will take it.
Because I don't think any canon has ever said exactly how long the symbiote lives for.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
A thought just occurred to me. Speaking of Deep Space Nine, is in that 900-year span, did Captain Sisko ever come back?
That'd be cool.
You know, like that's
Just
kind of
piece
a
back in.
that's like a loose end they could address if they want. Maybe his return or something had something to do with the burn. You know, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Theories are forming as I speak.
I've always been told that Avery Brooks doesn't want anything to do with Star Trek anymore.
No, I mean I could see him not being on the show, but they could use him as a historical event, you know, like to at least give the fans closure on what happened to him after he left.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying having Philippa Giorgio on the crew because she's fucking hilarious. Her hard edge practicality, I just love it.
Yeah.
I think she's a little proud of Michael too. She survived on her own for an entire year with little to no help.
Yeah.
And then she did the boyfriend interrogation.
I know, that was great.
I was expecting like they were fishes out of water, but like Booker was the fish out of water. They put him in a Starfleet uniform and he's like fucking all uncomfortable and shit.
Yeah, that was great.
I like him, by the way. I like Booker.
Me too, and I'm interested to see how that where's he gone? Is he coming back? What's gonna happen? All of that stuff, you know, because he like went off, like, you know, he went off like Han Solo with his prize money.
That's right, he did. Well, we know how that went, so
he went to pay off Java. Yeah.
He's gonna come back. I'm not in it for your Federation, sweetheart. I'm in it for one person, me, and Grudge.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody online pointed out that they must have immortalized Bigsby as the emergency groundskeeping hologram because that tree is old.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait, no, was it Bigsby or Boothby? Jenny, you know
Boothby.
this. Booth, I know. It was the B name. It was, yeah.
Yep.
I was wondering about that.
Boothby, and somebody pointed out that Picard talked about. Oh gosh, and was it on Next Generation or was it on Picard? He talked about studying under an elm tree on the grounds of Starfleet.
There's attention to detail there.
Which
that was one of the Starfleet Academy episodes.
Right.
I actually think it was the one where he came down to Starfleet Academy to oversee Wesley's inquiry.
The First Duty.
I like how she knows the episode name. Yep, that one.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's move on. The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 1. The Marshal. Is everyone caught up on this?
I'm not, but I'm here for it.
Yeah, it's Jenny. So have you seen any spoilers or anything about this episode online? Have you heard or seen anything?
I've seen nothing. I'm here to be spoiled.
Oh.
Gimme.
Well, let's see. I got a list here.
Buckle your seatbelt.
Well, the sort of quest for the season is Din. I can't call him the Mandalorian now that I know his name. He's Din. He's tasked with finding the Jedi, but in the more short term is finding more Mandalorians, because then if he can string together where all the Mandos are hiding, maybe he can get a lead on the Jedi. And you know what? He's gonna find these Jedi, and the idea is being that he's gonna give the kid back to them. Not happening.
No way.
No way.
It's not gonna happen.
I don't. Did they mention the planet that he first showed up on, where he met the Cyclops?
It doesn't actually show it anywhere what planet it is. It's
Okay.
not on Wikipedia. It's not in the subtitles. It's not in the dialogue.
So he meets this contact, this Cyclops alien. I can't remember the race name, but apparently that was John Leguizamo.
Yeah, I heard that, and then I laughed really loudly. And the cameos resume.
Yeah, this episode was chock fucking full of Easter eggs and stuff. So we go straight back to roots, straight back to Tatooine, which I love. I can't get enough of it. Back to Mos Eisley, return of the mechanic character, who's like offers what you say, if the baby's back. Oh, if this thing ever sprouts or buds or whatever, I want its offspring. How much do you want for the baby? Just kidding, not really.
Surprising note, he actually lets droids work on the ship.
Yeah, character development. The sacrifice of IG-11 has changed in a little. Go ahead, let the droids do their thing.
And the triumphant return of R5.
Oh yeah, Jenny, Skippy the Jedi Droid cameo appearance.
What?
Yeah, he's back together. I was watching it on the ferry, and Raina saw my face, and I was like,
I'm like crying. What?
Accurate.
yeah, the
accurate.
mechanic at the starport just casually says R5 over here, and sure enough, a very familiar red R5 droid trundles over, reverse angle shot, and you see the carbon scoring around where his motivator blew out. It's just black, and he's working, he's fine. No, this is only
the
like
most important droid in the universe.
I don't know if anyone else knows this but me and Jenny, but back in the 90s, they put out these Star Wars Tales comics. I don't know how canon they were, but one of them was called Skippy the Jedi Droid, and he was a Force-sensitive droid. It was R5, and he was about to get sold to the Skywalker, or to the Lars farm, and he got a Force premonition that if he was the one to go instead of the blue one, the galaxy would be taken over by Darth Vader. The bad guys would win. So he intentionally blew his motivator to make sure R2 got bought and made sure everything was good. So his name was Skippy the Jedi Droid. There you go.
Amazing.
But anyway, he's got a job in Mos Eisley, and that was a very sweet cameo from episode 4.
That is fantastic.
So the premise of this episode is Din has to go to a place called Mos Pelgo where a Mandalorian has been sighted. Bearing in mind, this is 5 years post Return of the Jedi, give or take. So he goes there and asks the bartender if he's seen a Mando, and he says, well, why don't you ask him? And then a man wearing Boba Fett's armor, although not once in this episode did Din mention knowing about Boba Fett or who he was or anything like that. He just saw a guy in Mandalorian armor who took his helmet off and realized this guy's not Mando. Take that fucking armor off.
Hilariously loose-fitting Mandalorian armor. Like he didn't fill it out at all.
No, and this character, Jetty, was played by Timothy Oliphant. He was the guest star of this
Oh,
episode.
that's hilarious.
And he was great. And he was, if anyone's ever seen Deadwood, he plays Seth Bullock, the sheriff in Deadwood.
Yeah.
And he was very much a similar character in this. Sort of he was a Tatooine native, but he sort of had this slow Western way of talking. But he was awesome in this. He played a character called Cobb Vanth, who apparently, Bryce, he's already part of Star Wars lore.
Yeah, he's in the Aftermath books.
Okay, right. So that is canon then. Well, it's canon
cool.
obviously now, but yeah, cool.
Yeah, so it looks like from this video that he bought the Boba Fett armor off of some Jawas and then uses it to defend his village.
Yeah, another very Seven Samurai Magnificent Seven type feel, which I can't get enough of.
Mm.
Yeah, this whole episode was like straight out of an old nickel western or whatever, because like the shrimp planet in season 1, this was very much the same thing.
Yeah, similar.
Spaghetti Western, I think you're thinking of.
Yes.
And yes.
That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah.
Not
Not sure why they're called spaghetti westerns.
I'm not sure either. Do you know, Juice?
Because
Ah.
the majority of those westerns back in the 60s or 70s were made in Italy.
Okay. I
Yeah.
was wondering about that.
So
Sergio
the good, the
Leone.
bad, and the ugly, fistful of dollars and a few dollars more, all made in Italy.
Okay. Cool.
Hence spaghetti western.
So once again in this episode, thing about Din is, like, we don't know what changes the Mandalorian culture faced in recent years, but he's a hard liner for, like, there's a non-Mandalorian wearing the armor, and he's like, take it off or I'm gonna. He's gives no quarter on his creed, and the helmet thing keeps coming up, and I think they're gonna. I got faith in the showrunners. I think we're gonna get an answer about it at some point, but it's like the fucking helmet thing. Like, even they can't always have been that way or a new thing, because when Din was a foundling was in the time of the Clone Wars. So if he swore to the Mandalorian creed, we're not taking the helmet off as a thing, it doesn't work, because Rebels is canon, and Sabine Wren, Gar Saxon, all those guys, they took their helmets off and they were as Mandalorian and Death Watch as the next person. So it's conflicting canon. So we don't know it, and it's frustrating. So we keep talking about this helmet thing, but I do think we're going to get an answer about it. And I think sooner or later he's going to come across actual Mandalorians, and one of them's going to take their helmet off and he's going to shit. But if anyone is the Mandalorian to roll her eyes and say, look, you got to get over that fucking bit, man, it's going to be Sabine from Rebels. Like, she would be the perfect person to be like, that's like a ancient part of some, what clan are you in? Oh, you guys, all right, yeah, you're traditionalists. Yeah, get over yourself, man.
I think it's going to have something to do with the purge that they talked about in the first season. So, like, clearly, like you said, in Rebels, we see Clan Ren and Gar Saxon and all those people. They take their helmets off all the damn time. So clearly, something must have happened to Mandalore in order for this shit to have happened. Because Gideon had to get the Darksaber from presumably the smoking corpse of Bo-Katan. And something must have happened, and I'm dying to know what it is.
That's where all the answers to this helmet stuff is going to come from. You're right, is in that little bit we don't know about Mandalore and Bo-Katan. And Bo-Katan, Katie Sackhoff, is going to be in this season, and I can't see them casting her and she's not going to take her helmet off at some point. You know what I mean? Like, just seems unavoidable. Which is cool because they can make her look like the character she played pretty easy. Throw a wig on her. Done. Give her the armor. Oh, another season 2 prediction I have. I've had a few. Some are crazy. But I think at some point in this season, Din, might be after we get a little more information on the helmet shit. I think Din's going to at some point take his helmet off and show the baby his face.
Yeah?
I think that's
a
going to
good
happen.
point because the baby has... he says he only takes the helmet off in private, and I'm not sure if the baby counts as private.
I think it does. I think the baby counts as he doesn't show his face to the baby because he said to IG-11, no living thing has seen my face. That includes baby, right? But I think he's gonna do it, and then the baby will be like, I still love him.
Well, the baby would have saw his face in the last episode of season 1 when he takes the helmet off, wouldn't he?
No, baby was gone. IG-11 was the only person in the room with him. Everyone else went down through the vent.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So, what does he do? Does he lock the baby away in, a vent or something in order to shower? How does that work?
Not a lot of space in the crest.
No.
Maybe he just locks the pram shut.
Plus the fact the baby was in that little cubby hole of a bedroom in the Razor Crest a lot of the time. So...
And I said this in a previous cast, is that I think, although it would not be big, I think there's a part of the ship we haven't seen, which would be behind the bridge on the upper deck. Like, the way the ship's laid out, I could see there being a sleeping quarters or something in there, maybe just a mechanical room or something. But
according to the Lego set, there is a skip pod.
Okay, that makes sense.
Cool.
We've known people to sleep in escape pods. Speaking of the baby, I love the little fucker, as we know, but I felt like they overused him in this episode. It was too many cutaways to his reaction shots.
Well, I think
That's
the problem
hilarious.
was that the first episode of season 1 was an hour long, but the baby doesn't show up until the end of it, right? Every episode since then has only been 25 to 30 minutes, so you only get half an hour worth of baby shots.
Right.
But this episode was an hour, so they had to, I guess, use the baby a little more frequently.
And
You gotta see the baby.
oh god, I hadn't made that connection. but a lot of the shots worked. Like when he was in the speeder bike satchel and he's smiling his face off, shit like that worked. But I just felt like they cut to him a little too much. But he's so cute, so I'm willing to forgive it. So the other thing I want to talk about is that Din clearly has spent a lot of time on Tatooine. He knows the Sand People custom, and you don't just get to know fucking Tusken Raiders. They kill motherfuckers. So he not only knows them, he's friendly with their guard dogs. He speaks their sign language and their language. So Din's got some serious Tatooine time logged, which makes me wonder. He said that he hadn't heard of any Mandalorians on Tatooine, but Fett only died 5 years ago, and it strikes me weird that Din maybe he just wrote him off as dead so he didn't even think about it, but there's no way Din didn't hear about Boba Fett, supposedly the greatest bounty hunter in the galaxy, working for Jabba, who everybody on Tatooine has heard of for sure.
However, it is canon. The Mandalorian culture considered neither Jango or Boba Mandalorians. They were just bounty hunters that had Mandalorian armor. And
that's very likely the way it's going to go. I would like to get a definitive answer from this show about that, because people have been arguing about the Jango Boba thing forever. I do like
During
that.
the very last scene, we're probably going to see it next episode.
Yeah, well, you know what? We're going to talk about that cameo in a second, but I got a theory about that too.
Yeah, so do I.
So the final. Well, actually, I got a thing to get to first. Is the actual mission of this was that the
Vinzer story.
yeah, I'm calling a lawyer. They're stealing my stories here. Cobb says, "All right, I'll give you the Mando armor if you help us." He's just looking out for his town. Help us defeat this fucking crate dragon. So they forge an alliance with Sand People, an uneasy alliance with the townspeople and the Sand People, and they go and deal with this crate dragon, which is the biggest I've ever fucking seen. So they do that, and he gets the armor back. But yeah, the the crate dragon. This one, there's different kinds of crate dragons apparently. This one's one of the long, snaky ones. It works kind of like a sandworm, and there's like the canyon ones. Raptor and I are on record as fighting. They're more dragony. But I kept saying, "Come on, come up out of the sand. Let me see you, so I can be sure my clan symbol still kind of looks like it." But it did enough that I was like, okay, good. It's got horns. It looks dragony. We're good. So Reyna said
it was pretty good.
Reyna said it when Din killed it and he emerges. He went inside it and jetpacked out of it. She said if he comes out with some 3 claw marks on his helmet, says you need to call a lawyer.
Oh my god.
I was like, oh my fuck, someone's talking. I'm not getting my check. Fucking Kramer stealing, or Jay Peterman stealing Kramer's stories. You can't tell that story anymore, but I'm Kramer.
And the part I like the most is after Din is done blowing up the crate worm, the Sand People pick the pearl out of the corpse.
Yeah, great dragon pearl, very valuable.
Oh, cool.
You know what I thought was cool is that Cobb, he was pretty good with the armor. He knew how he used the rangefinder to fire a jetpack missile. He used the jetpack itself pretty good. Like he was pretty good with that armor.
So someone explain the crate pearl to me here.
It's like it forms in their gizzards naturally, like a clam pearl, and they're incredibly valuable. And in some games you can even use them in lightsabers. All that one was huge. But yeah, they just form in their guts and they're valuable.
Yeah, so it's like a pearl the size of your head.
Oh, I saw it. I was impressed.
Oh yeah, right. So in the old KOTOR games, if you killed crate dragons, they have littler pearls because they're smaller, and you can use them as a lightsaber crystal.
I can't remember. Did the crate dragon in KOTOR have legs, or was it a snaky one? I thought it had legs.
No, I'm pretty sure they were quadrupeds.
Yeah.
The world boss in Tor is a quadruped.
Right. You know what? And just them snaking their way under the sand like a worm doesn't mean they don't have legs. We might have just not saw them. I can't remember.
That was my big thing. We never really saw it from the neck down, right? So it was never completely above the sand at any point.
Yeah. I thought that was a cool way to do it, though, coming in like a sandworm.
Either that or the quadrupeds evolve into the big-ass snake ones.
Well, that's one thing they've always said about crate dragons is they never stop growing. So I'm wondering if it's like a frog and a tadpole. Eventually they lose their legs and turn into great snakes or something. Like, who knows? Either way, it was fucking cool. I was excited.
With back to the armor for a second, it definitely shows his natural ability with the armor because he used the jetpack, like the launcher part, like the first day he had it, assuming, because he got it, came back, and then launched a missile at the people who were taking over the town, like within the first day. So he definitely like learned, or he knew already like where that came from, because he recognized it as soon as he saw it on the ship. So he must have had a run-in with Fett back before.
I was happy to see that targeting record actually being demonstrated.
Yeah,
that was cool.
Yeah, it finally puts to bed all the people who'd be like, what the heck would you ever use a missile backpack for?
To blow people the fuck up.
I heard some people talking about like the defect in the jetpack or whatever that Din actually took advantage of. I just thought I brought that up because I heard some good points while people were discussing that. I feel like it was at a party or something.
He knew. So I think when he was trained in a jetpack, because that's like, Fett's, I just assumed it was an older model, but like maybe it was a known issue. If you hit it in the right spot, you can jumpstart it, because he hit it and no problem. He knew what was going to happen. He got Cobb the safeties. That's how Solo same spot Solo accidentally did it on the skiff.
Right.
Another nice little throwback.
What I really liked is you can tell by that point that Din really trusted Cobb, because he says, look after the kid for me.
Yeah, and you know what? I love that, is that they parted on such good terms, like they were an ally. In their initial when he got in Cobb's face over the armor, Cobb just stayed fucking cool as a cucumber, right? Like, he didn't panic, didn't start a fight. But you know what? It's like Cobb could become a Mandalorian, like if you go by the old canon, because he was just a guy looking out for his family. He's not that different from Din at all, you know, like.
Yeah, I agree.
I still didn't like that in the end he still took the armor, because Cobb definitely proved that he was worthy of it. Like, it was dented, it was worn, so it wasn't the actual premium metal of Mandalore, so it was like
Durasteel armor. But yeah, you're right. But that, again, that comes back to Din being such a fucking hardliner. Like, he's got no give about this Mando creed that he swore.
It'd be nice to see him get it back eventually, though.
So, final shot of the show. A guy, bald head, wearing a sand person robe, a gappy stick, and a Tusken rifle, turns around and bam, Tamir Morrison, the guy who played Jango / Boba Fett, just scowly face, turns and walks. And he's been watching them the whole episode, because we got a view through macro binoculars. He was watching how it panned out. So all kinds of theories about this already. Like, some people are saying, oh, it could be Rex, it could be clone. No, it's Boba Fett. He's listed as being Boba Fett in all the promotional, and it just is. That's what my money's on. But like, Jawas had his armor, so my theory is he probably blasted his way out of the Sarlacc. He was half dead, and the Jawas stripped him like a fucking ship, left him to die. So somehow he's been recovering for the last couple of years, and now I think he's just going to be, if he can find a ship or get his old ship back, he's going to be looking for Din this whole season to get his armor back. And I think we might not see Fett again till towards the end of the season. They'll let us forget about him. They'll distract us with Ahsoka and Bo-Katan and all that shit. And then bam, Fett's going to show up. I want my armor. You know, like, it's just going to be...
Like, next episode, final scene, we'll see Din blasting off from Tatooine, and a discreet distance away, there goes Slave One.
I'd be good with that too.
Yeah, I think it's going to go one of two ways. It's either going to be we see him stalk Din the entire season until the very last episode, because in the intro, like I was saying on the weekend, the intro is like, you are both hunter and prey from the armor, or they're going to resolve it next episode before he leaves Tatooine. It's going to be one of the two.
He's going to be like a big thing, though.
Oh, totally. This is we've been waiting for the fate of Fett for fucking how many years?
40-year-old mystery, yeah.
Right?
That's amazing.
You could see Fett getting his armor back, and in a crucial moment, Din will be in trouble, and he'd be like, help me, you're Mandalorian, and Fett will just turn and be like, I'm not Mandalorian, and he'll fucking leave him, right? Like, that would answer that question pretty clear. But anyway, it was so nice to see Tamir. I'm a big fan of his. He's a lot of fun. He's always plays these scowly, badass characters, but when you see him in an interview, he's all having so much fun. Like, he's a hoot. I mean, fuck, we got him to record a greeting to me, which blew my mind.
That's awesome.
This Maori greeting is so good. Yeah.
So I enjoyed the expanded look at Tuskens in general. It just added to the Western motif of these are the quote unquote natives, and they needed their help. They actually have their own culture. You just need to not look at them with blind hatred to actually peel away the layers of the onion to see it.
Yeah. They're drawing on some real classic stuff. I don't think it's canon anymore, but old comics and books dealt with Sand People culture, and they were even more stringent about not showing their faces than this new Mandalorian helmet idea. Like, they would, like, even as a baby, their faces were just covered. They never knew what their family members looked like in the face at all. There was a comic or a book where a sand person was force sensitive, went to the academy, and the whole time he never took his face covering off, and like never, didn't even know what his father looked like. That kind of.
Somebody online I saw wrote a joke comic of that scene around the fire, and the same people are explaining that the last time they had somebody over at their village, he killed all the women and children.
I saw a joke Lego said of that today. It was all Tusken bits, and the description was sand people, not just men, but the women and children too. It's just bits of sand people.
Yeah, Jenny, you really got to see this. This episode
Oh,
had
yeah.
good drama, but some good funny bits.
Yeah,
Like, at
that's
one point, they're trying to lure the Krayt Dragon out of its cave with a bantha, and then a sand person goes up and like yells into the cave to try to wake the Krayt Dragon up, and you're like, oh no, that poor bantha's going to get eaten. And then the sandworm, then the Krayt Dragon comes out, eats the sand person, and leaves the bantha completely by itself.
Oh my god.
The fight choreography in that first scene was really great. Like the hand-to-hand combat and the knife throwing. And one guy goes to throw a punch at Din, and he just fucking leans his helmeted head into the guy's fist, like he's fucking Destro or something. It was so good.
I also like the Gamorreans fighting. That was kind of neat to watch.
With vibro axes and everything. Someone said that this is the best Star Wars storytelling we've ever had, and I'm inclined to agree. Like it's treating it like a good Western. It's using all these classical things. It's tipping its hat at the movies, like with Red 5 and R5 and shit like that. Like it's so well done, and every time I watch it, I feel like it's made for me. You know, like I just love it.
That's cool.
I think it's just one of those things where, like, Save the Galaxy or Save the World or Save the City stories are cool every once in a while, but sometimes smaller scale stories are just as interesting as long as you've got a good cast of characters.
I'm finding them more compelling than the Save the Universe every movie. Like it's smaller, but it's working better for me. When they go to scout out the Krayt Dragon's cave, they said they thought it might have been a Sarlacc cave, an abandoned Sarlacc cave, and they said there's no such thing as an abandoned Sarlacc cave, and they said there is if the dragon eats the Sarlacc.
And when I heard that, my eyes wide and says, holy shit, those dragons are fucking nasty.
Krayt Dragons are the definite apex predator of that planet. I tell you, watching that episode, I've never felt better about choosing my clan symbol.
And I was trying to figure out how the hell would a Krayt Dragon eat a Sarlacc? And then during the fight, you see the dragon like spitting acid bile. And then, that's how.
Bottom line, don't go to Tatooine.